In areas where the average winter temperature drops below 25 degrees Fahrenheit, a self-adhering ice and water barrier should be installed. The barrier should overlap the drip edge and metal flashings on the eave. It should extend a minimum of 24 inches beyond the interior wall and 36 inches for all valleys, rakes, and roof penetrations. Be sure to follow all manufacturer installation recommendations and observe your local building codes when installing the ice and water barrier. Next, install a single layer of ASTM D226 30-pound felt underlayment on all parts of the roof deck not covered by the self-adhering ice and water barrier. Install the felt perpendicular to the roof slope in parallel courses. Top lap the edges of the felt over the ice and water barrier by at least 3 inches. Side lap the ends of the felt by at least 6 inches. Top lap each additional course of felt underlayment by 3 inches and side lap when needed by a minimum of 6 inches. Tack down the underlayment. Classic slate tiles are fastened to the roof substrate with 2 nails. The nails must be placed in the 2 clearly marked spots or targets on each tile and must penetrate the roof decking by at least 3/4 of an inch. Be sure to avoid over or under penetration of the fasteners. Improper fastening voids the warranty and can compromise the roof system. Start by placing the starter pieces so that they extend no more than 1 1/2 inches beyond the eave drip edge. Nail them in place, holding a gap between starter tiles of approximately 1/4 inch. Install the first course of slates, making sure that they are even with the butt edge of the starter course. The joints between the starter pieces and the first course should be a minimum of 2 inches, so that the nails are covered by the next course and that there are no through joints from roof surface to underlayment. When the course reaches the opposite gable edge, cut the last tile vertically to achieve a width that will result in a straight finished edge. Classic slate tiles can be installed as straight courses or as staggered courses. If you desire straight courses, start by striking parallel horizontal chalk lines at the desired exposure level, beginning at the top of the first course of slates. These lines will be your guide to ensure that the slates are installed straight and uniformly. Exposure can range from 6 inches to a maximum of 7 1/2 inches when installing straight courses on roof slopes greater than 512. 6-inch exposures must be used for slopes less than 512 down to a 312 pitch. Note that there are also 6, 6.5, 7, and 7.5-inch exposure marks on each tile. When you place the marks on top of the previous tiles, you will also maintain the proper exposure. However, installing to a chalk line is the preferred method. Continue placing slates horizontally. Center each new slate by using the molded center mark located at the top of each tile to line up over the joint in the preceding course. Continue placing the courses vertically. Starting each new course configuration, you can use open and closed. An open valley design may be appropriate if the roof is subject to snow, ice, and debris, as the wider spacing helps to keep the valley clear. If climatic conditions or building codes require it, install a full-length, 36-inch wide, self-adhering ice and water shield centered on the valley. When using an open valley design, a single diverter W flashing should be used. Install the valley flashing using metal cleats on 24-inch centers. Overlap the flashing by at least 8 inches and set the joints in sealant. The trimmed edges of each slate should extend 4 inches over the valley metal. When installing the slates over the valley flashing, be sure to avoid nailing through the underlying metal. If you use a closed valley design, a single diverter W flashing or a standing I-seam flashing should be used. Again, Install a full-length, 36-inch wide self-adhering ice and water shield centered on the valley. Install the valley flashing using metal cleats on 24-inch centers. Overlap flashing sections by at least 8 inches and set the joints in sealant. The trimmed edges of each slate should extend over the valley metal. Pieces are used to finish off hips and ridges. Start by chalking a straight line. Place one piece of preformed hip and ridge slate at the eave and one near the peak to act as guides to mark the beginning and end of the line. Snap the chalk line at the edge of the slate on the top and bottom pieces. This will help keep the hip straight in the event of a crooked underlying structure. Install the preformed hip slates from the eave to the peak using a maximum exposure of 7 1/2 inches. Fasten the hip slates with 2 fasteners, one on each side, nailing in the designated target area. The fasteners must penetrate the deck by a minimum of 3/4 of an inch.